Hello, creative friends. This is Joy. So, today I have a drawing of a giraffe that I decided to do on this watercolor background. So, here I'm just using my pencil to sketch out the giraffe and get like the outline of the giraffe on here and the details of as far as like the eye and the nose and get the proportions correct on this drawing here or on this watercolor background before I actually go in with my paint markers to paint it in. And for some reason, I struggled a little bit with getting this thing drawn out and getting the proportions correct. I don't know what it was. It was just giving me a little bit of a hard time for some reason. I don't know. I don't know if the background was distracting me or what, but it was just causing me a little bit of issues just getting everything looking correct, I guess you could say. So, anyway, after I got done fussing around with getting it drawn out with pencil, then I go over it with my pen and I just trace over the pencil lines with everything like you see me doing here, and then I go in and add additional details like within his ear there, and then of course the mane that's on him. I Some of those details I know that I can just fill those in when I start going in with the black pen. So I mean, there's no need to put all those in with the pencil. I just mainly, like I said, like to use the pencil to get the outline of the animals, proportions correctly, and where the eye and the nose placement is. But yeah, so after I got him kind of sketched out with my black pen, and then I pulled out my watercolor pens and started to, proceed with coloring him in. And I kind of, I'm referring to my reference photo somewhat for the coloring and stuff, but of course it doesn't always, it doesn't really match, and that's okay because in the end it actually looks fine. And so I just use whatever colors that looks like, is the closest to, what I'm trying to accomplish here on the drawing that I'm doing. So if it doesn't match exactly, like I said, in the end, it still looks fine and it's not a big deal. So, yeah, I'm looking at my reference photo, and a lot of the reference material I have comes from different places. I get, I have, been collecting photos of animals for years because I've always enjoyed drawing animals. So I've got tons of pictures, photos that I've taken at, zoos and places like that. Pictures from online, pictures from magazines, pictures from calendars, and you name it. It's like I've just been collecting these pictures for decades. That's my was my first love when of art and drawing when I was very young, which was animals. Which, interesting enough, I don't know that I've ever mentioned it, but my dad is a hunter and a taxidermist, which is kind of ironic, seeing that I enjoy drawing animals so much, and I just think that they're awesome. And I don't know if I ever completely agreed with my dad being a hunter and a taxidermist, but it's something that I grew up with and had to accept whether I agreed with that or not. In any case, I do like to draw animals, and I like to draw different animals, and I find it, challenging. Sometimes it's more challenging than others, like with this one. I think this one probably took me about an hour, I suppose, I spent on this particular one. Um, and yeah, I liked it. I was happy with it when I finally completed it, but it was a little bit of a struggle and a challenge. But it was fun to do. And, you know, a lot of the reference photos I have is of the whole animal, and I've just been drawing the head of the animals. I mean, I may end up switching it up and, you know, doing some drawings with the whole animal instead of just the head, but I'm really been enjoying just, you know, practicing my drawing and just focusing on the head of the animals instead of the whole, you know, body, which it would be obviously a lot more challenging. So yeah, here after I use the brown to get in the spots on him, I go over them with the gray to color in. It doesn't completely cover up the background, but I'm okay with that. I kind of like the background still kind of shows through a little bit, and I just think it makes it, you know, even more interesting. And when you can see a little bit of the background through, you know, the drawing, and then I'm use my Signo white pen to go over it and add all the highlights on the animal. And the highlight in his eye, I had to do like a couple of times because it was, I don't know, not as bright, I guess, as I would have liked it to be. So yeah, I went over that a couple of times to try to get that brighter. But eventually, you know, I did get it bright enough, like I was wanting it to be. And I went over the spots on him again, and there you see I using my finger to smudge it out a little bit where I felt like it needed to be smudged out. But yeah, I got like a little bit darker brown to go over the spots on him again a second time, just to kind of give a little bit of variation to the spots on him, which you'll see that here in a minute. And I think I added a couple more spots too. I felt like that he needed a couple more spots added in. And then here going over other some areas, excuse me, where I think it needed to be gone over. Yeah, here I go over the spots just with a little bit darker brown, just to kind of, you know, give a little bit of variation to those spots. So that's pretty much the draft that I drew. And so if you like this video, you can give me a thumbs up, or you can leave a comment or a question. If you have any questions, I would, you know, be happy to answer any questions. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you can certainly subscribe to see more. I've really been having a lot of fun doing these little drawings on these watercolor backgrounds that I did. I'll be sure to include a link to the video showing how I did these watercolor backgrounds. I did 6 of them, and so I've been going through one by one and just adding an animal to each one. And I think I got a couple more left that I'm going to do drawings on, and then once I finish those, I may do some more because I've really been having a lot of fun creating these little animal drawings. And I'm will be putting these in my Etsy shop for anyone who might, you know, want a copy or a print of any of these animals. So you can check that out. I'll have a link to my Etsy shop below as well, in case you're interested in, you know, getting a print of any of these animals that I've created. So yep, adding the last touches to it. So I thank you for stopping by and watching my video. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.